Hi, I'm John Speed. I'm not that smart, but I am joined by someone who is. I've got Jason Hall, Principal Engineer at Chainguard. Jason, how are you doing today?
Doing all right. Happy to be the smart person, I guess. Could you not get anybody else?
Oh no, we got you. We found you.
Good.
Today, we're going to be discussing what is a false positive. So Jason, what is a false positive?
A false positive is when a scanner scans some software and comes up with a finding that isn't an actual problem. When the scanner finds something that it thinks is a problem, a vulnerability in the code, but in reality it's not.
Do these false positives, do they create a problem?
Oh, absolutely. It's a gigantic waste of time. It's a gigantic waste of effort, not just in triaging all of them and thinking about them, but ultimately at the end of the day, you do all this work to triage the false positive only to find out it was a false positive. You're not even actually making the software any more secure.
And to me, the question is then, why are these false positives happening? What's going on?
Fundamentally, it's because the software scanner is working on incomplete data. It doesn't know everything that's in all source code everywhere. It can't, it couldn't possibly. It only knows sort of how to find markers of vulnerabilities of certain versions and packages of code and how to match those against the NVD database or another vulnerability database, which is also incomplete. So you take an incomplete knowledge of the software, fundamentally it can't know everything, and an incomplete database of vulnerabilities, and that's the best that the scanners have to work with. It's kind of incredible that they work at all.
And so once the scanner does integrate all that information, what does it do?
It looks at your artifact, it looks at your package, and it picks out whatever markers it can, and it matches them against the database and says, here's what I found. I found a marker in here that looks like this version of this package, and this database says this version of this package is vulnerable. This is what I can do for you. It can surface that the best that it can. But that data can be incomplete, right? Like it can pick out the wrong version of the package from those markers. It can match it incorrectly against the database. The database can be wrong. It's curated by humans. So, yeah.
And so, with all these problems happening, these false positives, other issues, what can be done to reduce the burden of this issue?
There is a lot of manual toil involved. That's the first thing that a lot of people reach for is we have a bunch of incomplete data. Let's put a person on looking at each of these matches and seeing what the problem is, seeing if this is a real thing. That works fine at a relatively small scale when you have, one or two apps and relatively small code bases, and it falls apart completely when you have, a gigantic, gigantic enterprise software bundle. So at that scale, you really need somebody to automate all of that. You really need somebody to automate detecting and surfacing and prioritizing, and then, because many of them are false positives, need to be able to automate silencing them across your entire enterprise app.
So Jason, I heard about all the toil that's imposed at companies, but in some ways, Chainguard is doing this ourselves right now. How are you and the engineering teams making sure that this is efficient and effective? Could you give me some examples?
Yeah, so we're actually doing what a lot of our customers used to do, or sometimes still are doing, which is we have automation to detect all the vulnerabilities in all the software that we produce, that we ship to folks, prioritize those, automate detection of the fix, and then even, which is the really exciting part, automating the application of that fix. Not just saying, sending a person to go and make this change to the code would fix it, but telling a robot to go make that change to the code, propose that change to us. We just, sort of double check their work and send it on its way.
Do the robots ever complain about toil?
No, that's the best thing about robots. They never complain. We programmed them not to.
Well, there you have it. That's what a false positive is, and that's how to remediate them. One final question for today. What's your favorite aquatic animal?
It may be recency bias, but I think I'm going to go with the beluga whale. I recently saw some. They are beautiful, majestic, gigantic, bigger than I thought beasts that just look so dopey and happy all the time. I don't know what's going on in those weird bulbous heads of theirs, but they seem to be enjoying it.
Well, there you have it. We got smart in 5 minutes. See you next time.